Whenever I wear something like this, every time I swallow, I can feel my Adam's apple get like strummed like a banjo string. What Adam's apple? Yeah, okay. Hi, it's Trixie, aka Trixie Yoder from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and I'm in a deep dive for you, everything I know about the Amish. Hi, it's Trixie. I know that I'm just a little different today, a little more sexy, a little more outgoing, a little more unique. It's because today I thought I would give you guys an unsolicited peek into the secret life of the Amish. Now, I guess I should just pump the brakes and explain why I know this. Sometimes when I know nothing about something, I go, I don't know if I learned a couple things. I started following this girl on TikTok, Miss Lavina, or Lavina, I'm not sure. I started following her and I started getting very inspired by her culinary skills. I mean, she really knows her way around making pretty much everything from scratch and pretty much taste amazing. I mean, you can tell watching that this Amish cooking technique that she learned growing up with is really impressive. And so I bought her book. Then I bought her book of home remedies. So I'm sitting on a bus reading how the Amish clean things. And I'm like, okay. Like cart before the horse. I know almost nothing about the Amish people. So if I'm gonna read these books and learn these Amish cooking techniques, maybe I should learn a little bit about what it all is about. What is this one here? How do the Amish deal with this? Ow. So I did what I do with anything when nobody is provoking me, which is I just get on the internet and get books and stuff and I just learn as much as I can. There was like a 4-day period where I just consumed documentaries and media about the Amish community. Now, I grew up in Wisconsin. I think there's Amish people around Prairie du Chien in Wisconsin, but in Northeast Wisconsin, I never saw any Amish people. So I knew almost nothing about the Amish. And the more I learned about this completely different way of life than the way I was raised, I was just like, wow, this is a new type of video. I don't normally position myself as an expert on anything, and I'm not an expert on the Amish, but I thought that since I learned a lot about it for no reason, that I would just share it with you guys. And I did a live show where Kati and I do these Bald and the Beautiful shows where we often do these like shitty PowerPoint presentations. And I ended up putting together like a shitty PowerPoint presentation about the Amish. And I thought, well, why was it just for the lovely people of wherever I was? Because usually we make these PowerPoints and we only show them in one city. I was like, all right, I'm gonna share this with the world. And I thought, well, what if talking about this makes the Amish mad at me? But then I thought they can't watch these videos or they're telling on themselves, so I might be okay. I don't know, I kind of like went up and down about it, but let's talk about the Amish. Today's video is sponsored by our friends at BetterHelp. Listen, if it's just you and me talking and the millions of others who are gonna watch this video, I think it's okay to be honest with you and let you know that sometimes even Miss Thing, even Miss Girl over here, needs a little bit of a pick-me-up, a check-in, a come down, and a relaunch. And part of that is talk therapy. I can tell you that I think that you have a lot more answers inside of you than you think. And talk therapy is a fabulous little Rosetta Stone to realize that, you know, if you ever want to look for home again, happiness, you go no further than your own backyard. I mean, for me, talk therapy with BetterHelp was wonderful because I could access it from anywhere, anytime, the airport, my garage, my backyard. There's even options for touching base with your therapist just via message. Something else I love about BetterHelp is there's group therapy sessions where you can learn about anything. One of the ones I attended was more relationship focused, but you could learn about starting a new job, divorce, maybe you're getting ready to have children. I also like that you can switch therapists at any time for any reason. I think maybe as queer people, we're not always sure how honest we can be in the beginning. I'm still not over the Spice Girls breaking up. I bet there's, you know, a group therapy session about that. If you're ready to invest more in yourself like I did, head over to betterhelp.com/Trixie Mattel and get a discount on your first month with BetterHelp. You guys have followed me on this channel. You know that I have improved myself through therapy, and there's comments about it all the time. How bright I seem and how happy I seem. Can't cheat that. I have gained those benefits through therapy myself. Back to that beautiful woman in the video. The Amish, Secrets Revealed, a presentation by one Trixie Mattel. Let's go. I haven't given a PowerPoint presentation in a real way before this since probably college, but it's a great visual tool. We're all gonna learn a lot. Do I look like that painting of Whistler's mother? Look, I kind of do, right? You believe this pussy makes butter? I try not to be so rash and crazy, but for me, you guys, the lifestyle I live, reading about such a restrictive community was in some ways sad, but in most ways just so foreign. Like, you know, I grew up, I'm from a small town, I'm from the country, but I wouldn't say Wisconsin is extremely religious. It might be a little bit Republican in some areas, but it's not religious. in a way that like a small town in the South might be religious. And so reading about strict religion, reading about oppressive societies with like really extreme rules and very extreme consequences for breaking them, it was like reading about another planet for me. Like I knew so little about this, and now you're watching this. And you know what this makes me think of? Sometimes people in my life will say, well, you know, your people who watch your channel, they'll watch you do anything. And while I know that they mean that as a compliment, I take it as kind of like, you think that my audience is dumb, and you think that what I do isn't at all like special or thought out. But there's moments like this today where I'm dressed like an Amish woman and you guys are still watching, that I think that might be true. Like I don't, you know, I'm sick of defending you guys. Like you guys are watching this and I'm here, and I feel that you watching this is your choice, and you know, here we are. So let's just get started, shall we? Okay, so the Amish, secrets revealed. I called this presentation the Amish Secrets Revealed because, as you can imagine, this is a community shrouded in mystery. You either have to live close to these communities or meet someone who's left these communities. You know, they're a very insulated group of people. Like I've recently had the pleasure of patronizing an Amish business where they made me a milkshake from real Amish homemade peanut butter. And let me tell you, these fuckers can bake. And they were so kind and nice to me. And I was thinking to myself, if only they knew how depraved and horrible and, you know, sinful and horrible I am. But they were so nice to me and their food was good. So in the moment, I was just like, wow. You know, I was preparing for this moment with you guys by going and interfacing with some real Amish people. So that's fun. So I'm going to share some things with you. I would be interested in the comments if you guys know more than I do. I'm always interested. So whatever you guys know, this is my new side hobby. Okay, a tantalizing tell-all Kiki by Trixie Mattel. You guys, I made this on a plane on my phone on Keynote. I should stop saying it's PowerPoint. I don't even have the Microsoft Office suite because I'm cheap. I'm using Keynote. So what is Amish? I watched this documentary online and they talked about how our awareness of what the Amish do is actually very new, because these are very isolated communities that aren't really interested in everyone knowing their business. What is their tea? How did they get here? What makes them so cunty and wacky type? So I guess I'll go through these a little bit. Their tea is they are a very religious community. There are different levels of Amishness. I don't know if you guys even know this. There is Old World Amish. Old World Amish is what you would consider the most kind of old school Amish. So they're going to maybe have the most strict rules, have the most insulated communities. There's Old Order and New Order Amish. The New Order is like, you know, a little more liberal with maybe some of the restrictions comparatively. And then Mennonite, some people view as kind of Amish, but some Mennonite people have phones. Amish people, I don't even think they claim Mennonite because I think that they think that's like too liberal. That's like blue-haired Starbucks, you know, baristas to them. So just to put it in perspective, Mennonite, like having a phone or like showing your forearm, that's like wild to them. So like, that's kind of crazy. How did they get here? This was very interesting. I don't remember names exactly, but it actually ironically started, I believe, in Austria, and people were deciding that Catholicism was getting too fierce. Every country was getting that thrust on them. Sound familiar? So the Amish were like, we're leaving. And we heard that this new country, America, we heard that it's all about religious freedom because, in case you don't know, America was supposed to be founded in a way where people could practice whatever religion they want, free of oppression. So the Amish were like, we're gonna go do that because over here, Italy, etc., more Catholic, we feel encroached upon, we feel pressured, we feel that religion is gonna be mandated and we're gonna have to switch religions. The Amish were like, we're not doing that, right? So the Amish people go to the United States. And then obviously, I think we all figured out in history that America didn't seem to be so religiously free as we thought because there is no separation of church or state and no one says it because it's just, we all accept it. So anyway, I also think it's interesting that if you guys have heard of Baptists, which is obviously baptism, Amish people consider themselves Anabaptists because one of the foundations of the Amish religion is that they don't baptize at birth. I will say it again. They don't baptize at birth. Why? Because a big part of this religion or the religions is about sacrifice and what you give up in the name of like committing to God. So they kind of believe that when you're a baby, you shouldn't be baptized because you don't know what religion is, what God is, which I kind of fucking agree with. I mean, there's a lot of things about Amishness that I don't totally promote. But I will say, why are babies baptized? They don't know about God. They don't know what the water is. They don't know who the man in the robe is. In this religion, they want you to mature to like adult, and then knowing everything you know about the world, earnestly commit yourself to not just your religion, but your community. We're going to get into it, but the way you commit to your community is like as important as the way you commit to God. I mean, that's why they're so strict with their rules, because they're like, are you with us or not with us? Because if you're not with us, you got to go. But if you are with us, you have to live by this rule book. It's really extreme. And what makes them so cutty and wacky type, they're just very different. Removed from everything else. They are removed from like fashion trend. They're removed from social media, internet, technology. It's really, really, really different. They can't use anything electricity, but some communities allow propane. When I read this Amish cookbook, she was talking about, oh, we usually only enjoyed ice cream in the winter because you need ice and snow to get enough cold to make ice cream to freeze dairy. And so we think it's a summer treat, but for the Amish, it's like a winter treat. And then I read that some communities use propane-powered refrigerators, and that's like their workaround. Isn't that wild? I didn't even know it existed. And then disclaimer, I don't know what I'm talking about. If you're Amish watching this, get off your phone. You should be in bed by now. And if you're not Amish watching this, I don't have any trauma from this community. I understand a lot of people are excised and booted. We're going to talk more about that. And I am maybe in jest here, but I'm not promoting it. I'm not religious. Don't shoot the messenger. Okay, yes, God, literally. Their thing is high commitment. Gelassenheit, I'm not really sure how to pronounce that, but it means yieldedness or surrender. So this whole religion is about what you give up. Like the way you show your commitment to God is by abstaining. It's about what you don't partake in. It's about you can show how much you love God by giving up as much as you can. It's very, I don't know, that sounds like a tough life. I've never done it, good for them. And it all is followed by the Ordung. The Ordung is this unwritten code of conduct that Amish people go about in their daily lives. So everything from behaviors, technology use, all of that is mandated in this community with its own rules. And what's interesting is many of these Amish communities, because they don't use technology, they don't know each other. They don't know which Amish people live where. They're not friends. They don't have outside family members from other Amish communities. That's a little more rare. They're so insulated that their awareness of other Amish communities and their variations on the Ordung, like the rules, is completely unknown to them, and therefore kind of impossible to say. Like, it's hard to say which communities are different from which ones in which ways, because the Amish don't even know, because they don't, pick up a phone and text each other. Okay, church services are huge. These MFers go to church almost every day. I think I recall reading that they go every single day, 6 days a week. They're up super early. And then on Sunday, they might have activities like a sing, which is what we'll get to later, which is like an opportunity for young, unwed men and women to like commingle. And like I told you, they have Anabaptist roots. So the cornerstone of this religion is that you do not get baptized at birth. You commit yourself to God once you're an adult, which I don't agree with the way they shun people, which we'll get to, but I do think adults choosing religion with their informed adult mind, I just feel like that means more. I don't know. I've never been religious, and I've only been in churches a handful of times in my life, but to me, someone turning 22 and saying, I want to commit to God is more acceptable to me than baptizing a baby without its consent. You know what I mean? I don't know. Baptizing someone who doesn't even know what religion is feels weird to me. I don't know. Okay, you better work. Work is a huge part of the Amish community. I'm a workaholic, a recovering workaholic. I think in that sense, I would have done very well with this community. Although as I understand it, the men have to do the manual labor, and I wouldn't have gotten to learn how to make the blueberry scones or whatever they're doing. So it's an agrarian lifestyle, which means it's farming. So in addition to farming and building the barns, they keep farmed goods in and farm animals. These people are making everything, right? I watched this reality show where they had Rumspringa, which it's, we all know what that is. I'll tell you later. And these young Amish people go on breaks from their community. And the first time Amish people go in grocery stores, they are stunned and staggered at the price of things like bread. The Amish people, when they go to a grocery store for the first time, they're like, you just see my hairy leg when that popped up. Censor that, censor that. The Amish people think like buying a loaf of bread, the price of it, they're like, that's crazy, why wouldn't you make it? Butter, they're like, why would you buy it? It's so expensive. I think that is super interesting. It's because the women in Amish communities are taught from a young age how to make everything. They do canning. And like I said, a lot of things are seasonal. So like they don't have deep freezers running out of electricity. Carpentry is huge. These mother make stunning furnitures and homes and barns. If you guys watch a YouTube video of a barn raising, there's probably some footage we can put here. An entire community gets together and they raise a barn in one day, from nothing to a full barn. They erect it in a day. Because again, community is so important to these people. The way they show up for each other, they see is like a very high obligation. Like they show up for each other in major ways. I think that part of their lifestyle is very beautiful, how they're really there for each other. You know, if you're not gay or a woman who shuts up, you know, then you probably get that. But if you're me, you've probably been kicked out. Farming is huge. Quilt making, it's a stunning art form. If you guys image search like the quilts, the blankets, it's amazing what these people are capable of. The colors are beautiful. And you know, they're not a community that loves bold colors, but the intricate patterns, the quality of, I think it's possible to disagree with some of the fundamentals of the way they, let's say, treat gay people, but also acknowledge the artwork of their clothing and stuff. It's pretty cool. Okay, the fashions. You can't really think about the Amish without in your head thinking of what the Amish look like. I watched the Kirstie Alley Timala movie For Richer or For Poorer, which previously was my only knowledge of the Amish. And I rewatched it after I learned all this to be like, oh, let's see what parts of this are kind of true and real. The fashion is a huge part of it and it's wild. So here's some photos. You guys can see my bonnet is, you know, perhaps from the internet and perhaps not made by an authentic Amish person, but you can see they wear muted colors. So they have to wear black shoes, all neutrals, muted blues, grays, very deep mauves, very muted. So part of their religion is that they can't be flashy. And this is something I found so interesting. Did you guys know that the Amish can't even wear zippers and buttons because they're considered sinful adornments? And honestly, you guys, part of my research was gratitude of like the freedoms we have. You know, America isn't incredibly free at this moment, but we're not Amish and we can like wear red and not be, you know, labeled a whore. Kaltia, obviously. The women flat pin the clothing on, which I find so interesting because to me, buttons, normal buttons are not like slutty adornments. Clothing that's wrapped around you only by one pin feels slutty. Like, oops, one pin, naked. Like, to me, clothing pinned on seems wilder to me. Also, the intricate hair folding and wrapping for these women to keep it up under their little, what do you call that? The bonnet. Oh, girl, I don't know what they call it, but. And then the men, you're gonna see the men in a lot of white shirts, a lot of suspenders, you're gonna see hats, you're gonna see the beards. Obviously, no one has makeup on, no one has perfume on, no one's painting their toenails. They're not watching the sickening YouTube tutorials. I did watch one YouTube documentary that was about an Amish family that shared one cell phone, and it went from having it for emergencies to like as a family watching YouTube videos on it. And they talked about how the whole community didn't know and they kept it a secret. So I would assume that it's like any religion where there's rules and plenty of people breaking them and just no one talking about it. So, you know, this video is proof that people who follow me never know what's gonna happen next. You guys never know what the is going on in my mind. Imagine being the person on a plane next to me watching me research the Amish freelance. Like, what the is wrong with me? Oh, geez. Okay, this, you might have to blur this. This is an AI generated image I found on the internet of a sex act with some Amish people. Obviously, there's not enough photos of the Amish having sex, so I had to simulate it from the internet. It says Rumspringa, no loads refused. As you guys know, the Rumspringa is when the girls go, they leave the farm and get ran through. So just kidding. That was a joke. Rumspringa, no cap. It actually translates to jumping around. There's a time between when Amish people turn like 16, 17, because Amish people stop going to school after 8th grade. Amish people stop having any formal education after 8th grade. The Amish feel that that's enough education. Rumspringa is a period in an Amish person's life where you're not really under the rule of your parents anymore. You're not like under their authority, but you haven't committed yourself to God and your community yet. And this is an time in an Amish person's life where they are encouraged to push boundaries a little bit. Now in media, you will see Amish people out doing drugs and getting strippers and stuff, but truthfully, it's like them sleeping in and not going to church. It's them meeting up with other people who are Rumspringa and like taking a trip off the farm. It's not this like girls gone wild spring break experience. It's actually pretty mild. It's from the ages of 16 to 23. I guess their thought is before you devote your entire life to this community and this religion, there's this window of time where you could test the boundaries of that and see how it sits. Because again, they don't baptize at birth. So this period of time where you're not baptized, but your parents aren't really in charge of you, this is a time of development and kind of like trying it. It's kind of your angsty teen years. Like, I read some things about maybe this is a time where people push back against their parents, stay out later than they're supposed to, skip church. But again, it's not Girls Gone Wild like it is on TV. This is a major part of being Amish. Technology is, well, it's not satanic witch devices. Can you believe this picture of this Amish girl on this scooter? I don't know if this is generated. It looks real to me. I hope her friends didn't see her on that thing, because she is gonna get kicked straight the fuck out of the community for that. Unless that's a propane little scooter, I don't think it is. I discovered through my research that the Amish community and what things they indulge in feels very selective. It's like no phones, no internet. I think in some communities cars are okay. In some communities, like I've seen Amish people at the airport, or maybe they were Mennonite. Like, knowing what I know now, I'm like, maybe they were Mennonite. And when Amish people do have cars, they want black cars. So you'll find Amish people who do have cars, the cars are spray painted black. Isn't that wild? But like in Rumspringa, you might see a bunch of young Amish boys in a spray painted black car, like doing donuts in a field. Like, that's the most wild thing they'll do with their life, you know? They have buggies. So in these communities, you will see 2 horses or a horse pulling a buggy, and that's how people will get from community to community. When Amish people have to travel, they're really limited by how long can a horse take them before it has to eat and sleep. So again, that limits the radius of just like world awareness. Okay, this is crazy too. When Amish communities do have a phone, they will usually have one, and it will be so far remote out of their village that it has to be a complete fucking chore to use it. So if they have a phone, let's say, for example, if you're an Amish business and you are doing a phone order to maybe sell your wares to a store or something, you would maybe use that phone, but that phone is gonna be located outside of the community because they wanna make your ass struggle and walk to go use it because they don't want you to get flippant with your phone use. But again, it's all about that commitment to God. It's all about sacrifice. It's a way of being faithful. And again, there are exceptions. I found that in these communities with things like medicine, if an Amish person needs a surgery and, you know, in the operating room, they're using electricity, that's not a big deal. Like, when it comes to life or death or like child development or health things, there is some freedoms and some exceptions that are made. Because when I was reading about that, was my first thought is like, well, what if someone needs, I don't know, laparoscopic surgery? And isn't that like a part robot, that machine? Can you not get it? You know, but there are exceptions. Okay, courtship. This is a whole fucking thing. This is one of the most interesting things to read about when I was researching this. So the girls are bricked up and they are blue-balled. The Amish people are not having premarital sex. They are not, even when they're dating, before they're married, they're not spending much time alone. They're usually in each other's parents' homes. One of the ways that young Amish people can meet, and this is crazy, one of the ways that they can meet is called a sing. This is an event during the week or during the month where all the males and the females, because you guessed it, there's only 2 genders in the Amish people. Some of them are maybe in Rumspringa and some aren't, but these are unmarried individuals. So it's all men on one side, all women on the other side, and they will take turns and each of them will go, this is their social flirting event. Each person will go, oh, it's my turn? All right, my favorite hymnal is this. And then as a group, they will a cappella sing that hymnal from memory. And once that's over, they go to the next person. And then the next person, next person. This is where the flames of desire get fucking fanned. And then when things are getting really serious, the gentleman might ask the woman's parents if it's okay to give her a buggy ride home from church. And so that time of them alone together in a buggy ride home is like their main hot, sexy alone time. But obviously they're not having sex. The other thing is, some communities, the men and the women are permitted to sleep in a bed together before marriage if it's a long, serious relationship, but there's a device that goes in the bed that creates a wooden wall between them so they can't touch. So Amish bundling, you guys, I'm gonna read, is a traditional courting practice where a couple spends time together in bed, wrapped in a blanket or separated by a board. Can you believe that? In bed talking about your day and your couple, but like there's a board between you or one of you's wrapped up like a fucking taquito. So you're married, you're Amish. Obviously, the wedding night is where you have sex for the first time in your life. And it is completely customary and expected that it happens in the parents' home. So you're not going off to your hotel, you're not going off to one of your apartments, you're Amish. You go home to one of your mom and dad's house, and the whole family knows that you're just in your room doing it. Everybody knows that that's what's happening that night. And the next morning, you wake up and you assist in like the cleanup of the home. And you know, you take your pussy juice soaked sheets and throw in the wash, all that. And then you basically kind of profess proof that you consummated your marriage. For the days after it, cousins, community members will stop by and give blessings and gifts. And then the honeymoon. There is no real official honeymoon. However, you might see a period of time where the Amish couple just got married and they're not necessarily going hard with the chores. They're not necessarily present for their daily activities. They're kind of doing this honeymooning within the community basically, but they're not going on a trip. You know, they're just kind of, oh, they just got married, so they're spending the day climbing a freaking tree. I don't know what they're doing. Okay. This is when the PowerPoint starts to get fucking crazy, you guys. I just want to say these images are not doctored in any way. They are completely Googleable, and I encourage you to go on the internet and search for it. So Amish romance novels are a huge thing. If you go to a thrift store in certain areas of the world, you might see stunning arrays of paperback Amish romance novels. Now, romance novels about the Amish are extremely long-winded and completely devoid of actual sex and romance. So the most romance you might see in an entire Amish romance novel is a hand holding or like a longing glance. And I thought to myself, who are they for? Because surely the Amish are not reading this smut, right? There's shunning in the Amish community. So if you break rules, you get severely shunned, and it's really traumatic. And in the spirit of rule breaking, I learned that, like, let's say you leave the Amish, many people who leave the Amish, like I read a story about a girl who the night before she left, she used pig fat to oil up the hinges on her front door so that when she left at night, it wouldn't squeak, because she knew that if she saw her parents, she wouldn't be able to do it. She knew the only way to get herself to leave was to not say goodbye to anyone, which is a very fucking sad part of my research of this. I mean, let's say they're in their heart, they're like, I'm not committing myself to being Amish. It's not for me. I can feel that it's not right. They have to sacrifice every friendship they've ever made, their families. These are people they love, and they know if they leave, they can't come back. The community will expect the parents to never speak to them again. But it's very sad. I don't know, let's say, I know a lot of people who have religious parents, but you as a young person are not sharing that religion, but you can still go home and see your mom. And like, I think it would be so sad. You have to give up so much to be honest with yourself. And I think a lot of gay people and trans people understand what that might be like. You have to leave so much behind to move forward with your personal development. I think that must be so traumatic. The other procedural element of that is scary is a lot of time the parents of these Amish people, the kids might not have access to their vital documents. So if you're 18 leaving the community in the cover of night, you might go link up with a few Amish people. This is what normally happens, is you'll link up with other people who've left the community, and none of you have vital documents. None of you have birth certificates, social security cards. You have no money, no savings. You've never used a cell phone. You don't know what the internet is. You are so ill-equipped for moving through the world on your own. What I read is a lot of people, they have the support of a sibling who's left the community, a friend of, a cousin. It's very sad. That time of adjustment must be so traumatic. I'm sure there's a lot of crying and a lot of loss. I mean, you're mourning your entire life, whether or not, even if you're not choosing it, you're mourning the life that you had set up for yourself. But back to the Amish romance novels. The shunning and the shining. The shunning is a big part of it. A big part of these romance novels, the theme is sort of like Scarlet Letter. It's about the shame, the female shame of being divorced, or, you know, being a pariah within the community. Your husband died in a buggy accident, which happens all the fucking time. I'll tell you about it. Falling for the Amish bad boy. And you guys, knowing what we know about the Amish, what does the Amish bad boy do? Sleep in? Like, he's a bad news, you know? Her unlikely Amish protector. It's a lot of very submissive female relationships with like very rebellious Amish men, because a lot of the romance is like, I want to, but no, but I can't, but I must. It's that push and pull. There's no fucking in these books. And I asked myself, who is this for? Because surely the Amish aren't reading this, right? I learned that the people who read these are women who long for very restrictive, beyond Catholic, restrictive religious communities, and they like get horny reading about religious restriction. Hurt people hurt people. Okay, I just think that's wild. Look at Amish True Love, Forbidden Amish Romance, Amish, the Big Beautiful Amish Bride. Like, look how big she is. The photoshopping, wait till you see some of these. All three of these books have the same bonnet photoshopped on. And I'm pretty sure the women in these are stock photos. Brenda Maxfield writes a lot of these, and that's another theme in these novels is choosing. It's that, do I want it? Do I know? Should I leave the community? But there's that one guy in the community, if I could just reach him. You know, it's very that. Amish Silence. I mean, I don't know if it's silent. She's covering her ears. Elsie's Story. And look, Helping Mammy. It's the same girl. We don't know why. I mean, and they're both written by Brenda Maxfield. I don't think it's the same character. I think that bitch is just copy pasting. So Brenda, you better work. And what was more confusing is these are AI images. Some of these people who write these Amish romance books are using AI to generate the cover art. Don't you think that's wild? Anyway, a forbidden Rumspringa. There's also gay Amish romance books. When two young Amish men find love, will they risk losing everything? I think they will. If the dick is thick around, I think they will. Are you guys length or girth people? Comment below. Okay, buggies, you guys, are so dangerous. So this is a good example of a smaller buggy, but entire families go for rides on state county roads, on dirt roads. This is how these people get to town. This is how these people sell their wares, visit their grandparents, whatever. There are over 600 buggy accidents a year. I'm gonna show you this photo. It's very shocking. So imagine a car's going 65 miles per hour and hits a buggy with a family in it. It's not funny, and it happens, I think the stat I read was over 600 times a year. 606, I believe, was the number from one of the years. That's the number of fatal buggy accidents in the United States. Sad, scary and sad. Imagine, someone's drinking their Starbucks and trying to text someone, bam, Jacob Yoder. Splattered. Well, this is kind of an extra little slide I made. I can't be Amish because I'm gay, and that's a JD Vance quote. Don't Google that. I'm using the same fact-checking devices as the conservatives. So I can't say that I hope this helped you, because if you are a fan of me, I don't think that you're stuck between a rock and a hard place of whether or not you should go Amish. But I had a really good time deep searching this community that I knew nothing about. What did you guys think of this? I know so little about religions, and it was very enriching to learn about a completely different group of people. Who should I learn about next? Thank you guys for joining me. I hope I made everybody's Monday really wonderful. I'm sure you tuned in today hoping we were gonna test a black eyeliner or something, and instead we're deep diving a community who will never see this video, tragically. And shout out to my inspiration. I love Lavina on TikTok. She, in her openness and bravery of sharing her experience, she really inspired me to learn more about these people. And Diva, come on the channel. Let's make something, please. I bought both your books. Support you. Bye. Or as they say in the Amish community, bye.